Okay, so this is the story, and so it starts. I was living in Los Angeles, and and so it starts. I guess how far back do I go? Well, I guess it starts with a video shoot. Some of my friends were shooting. It was a band called the Devil Cats, and they were some good friends of mine. And they were shooting a video. They kind of rented out this big mansion and stuff to have this, so the setting of the video was a big party and stuff. I invited a few of my friends who were in another band, and they invited this girl, and I could probably get away with her saying her real name because it was Heather. I don't think you'll ever find her. Haha. So she shows up, and yeah, we kind of hit it off, and we started talking and stuff. And my friends at one point in the night said something about that she was friends or knew Eddie Van Halen or something. You know, I didn't want to seem opportunist. I didn't ask her about it. And that's about all I knew. And we started dating, and then we were dating for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I knew she lived on, oh crap, what's the name of the street there? Mulholland Drive, which is a beautiful area, you know, like, she lived like walking distance to Michael Jackson's house, you know. And I lived in East LA. And she was always coming over to my place, and I thought that was a little strange, because why wouldn't we hang out at her nice place instead of in the hood where I lived? And so about 2.5, 3 months into dating, I asked her one day, you know, like, why don't we ever hang out at your place? She's like, okay, how about Friday night? I'm like, cool. So I drive over there, get the address, find the place, knock on the door. There's, I could see through the window in the door, Eddie Van Halen is right there. He's got no shirt on. He's got cut-off jean shorts. He still had long hair. It was still mostly brown. There might have been a little gray in there, but not too much. And so he comes to the door. He was the closest to the door, so he comes and answers it. He asks me who I am. I tell him, you know, that I'm dating Heather, and that I'm there to see her. And he's like, "Oh yeah, really cool. You know, super friendly." He says, "What do you do, Mike?" You know, no, he didn't ask my name yet. He says, he goes, "What's your name?" I said, "My name's Mike." He goes, "My name's Ed." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, nice to meet you." And he goes, "What do you do?" I said, I'm a musician. And yeah, obviously I was a little hesitant saying that in front of someone of his magnitude. But I got the words out, and he goes, "Oh yeah, are you in a band?" And I mean, at the time I was a struggling session guy in LA. I was in 3 bands. So I told him I'm in 3 bands, and he's like, "Holy crap, you're a hard worker," and all this stuff. And so that was fun. He says, "Yeah, I'm in a band too." And of course, by this point, I'm like, "Okay, how long am I going to let this go?" You know, I'm like, "Yeah, I recognize you. I know who you are. You're obviously in Van Halen." And then I think that was the no. And then he says, "Have you ever tried one of my new Peavey guitars?" I said, "No, I haven't. It sounds real good. Maybe I'll go down to the Guitar Center and give one a rip and let you know what I thought of it." You know. And then I thought that was going to be the end of that. And then over the next couple months, you know, we kept bumping into each other in the living room. Or, oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess you don't know I have to tell why he was there. So he was dating my girlfriend Heather. No, my girlfriend Heather had a roommate. He was dating Heather's roommate. That's it. Okay. So then over the next couple months, you know, he's dating his girlfriend. We'll call her Jay for now or something. I don't want to say her name. She was a model and a little bit older than your typical model. She was probably in her late 40s or something at the time. Oh yeah, and that was the other thing. He asked me how old I was on that first night, and I don't remember if I told him the truth or not, because one of the bands I was in, I had to lie about my age to get into, so I don't remember if I told him the lie or the real age, but he told me he was 49, and that I was lucky because I was still very young, he said. So yeah, and then we would, you know, say hey and stuff every time we passed by each other, and chit-chat a little here and there, and talk about the band, and you know, he went off, one night he went off on about Gary Cherone, how much he hated Gary Cherone, and that was the worst incarnation of Van Halen. And yeah, I couldn't help but agree. And then yeah, I heard him practicing in the spare room a couple times, which was really interesting, because when he was practicing, it did not sound like Van Halen in any way. He would, yeah, he was practicing some different sounding stuff. I don't even really know how to explain it. Some jazzy experimental flavor to it, though, and it sounded good. So then, fast forward, hanging out casually a few times like that, and becoming friendlier and friendlier. And then one day, we both show up there, and we're waiting for the girls to get there. Neither one of them was home, so he was like, "Hey, have you?" He asked me again if I have tried one of his PV Wolfgangs. I said, "Oh no, I meant to go down to Guitar Center and give one a try, but yeah, I haven't had the chance yet." So he says, "Get in the car." So we get in. He had some kind of a Jeep. I don't even know what it was, but it was all souped up for off-road racing, which was something he liked to do. He told me, off-road racing, and so like I said, our girlfriends lived on Mulholland Drive, which is, if you know the iconic Hollywood Hills, it's the street that runs on the top of the mountain, pretty much. And then there's, you know, down on the south side of the hills is, you know, Hollywood, and then on the back side is Coldwater Canyon, and that's where Eddie's place was. So I got in a car with him, and road is like super curvy, and he drove like a maniac. Like, I was holding on to anything I could hold on to. I swear to God, the man drove like a maniac. He had a guitar in the back of this Jeep, and it wasn't in a case. I remember every time he slammed into a corner, you'd hear the guitar sliding across the vinyl of the back, like, and then hit against the side, kind of like this. You'd hear that every time he hit a corner. It'd be like bang, bang. So anyways, that was how that started. We pull up to his place, and I see it. Sorry, his main house is this like gorgeous 12,000 square foot home. But we didn't go in there. We went off to the left. There was another building, and I'm not good at judging square feet. It's probably 1,000 square feet. I don't know. But that's where the studio was, and the workshop. So now we're in the studio. We walk in the door, and you walk into the control room, and they have the sound desk there and stuff. You know, this, and you have to remember, this is so surreal. I can't believe this is happening as it's happening. And I'm trying to take it all in. So I'm looking at the desk, and he's telling me about how they've recorded every Van Halen song they've done since the 1984 has been done, you know, in this room on this equipment, and then so then you look to the far wall, and there was the wall of guitars. There was the the Frankenstein, the I don't know what he calls the Black Frankenstein, but there was and then there was I remember one guitar. It was like a hollow body, but it had this extra cable coming out, and it made this drone note or something. It was a weird guitar. Anyways, then we go into the into the room where the band gear is set up, and there's Alex Van Halen's drum kit set up right there, and it's got all the rototoms and everything, and there's a grand piano, a white grand piano, and past the drum kit, on the other side of the drum kit. So they had basically set up the drums and the bass rig and guitar rig was all kind of on one side of the room, and then behind that, if you can imagine, is the grand piano. And he's talking the whole time, telling me a bunch of stuff, like telling me about how, what he did about his tongue cancer, and how he thought he had gotten it from the metal pick, holding the metal pick in his mouth while he was tapping, and all that kind of stuff. But that's not privileged information. I think a lot of people know that. He told me the doctors wanted to cut his tongue out, and he refused. And he said he cured his tongue cancer with drinking alkaline water, high alkaline water. I don't know. That's what he said. So now we're back on the tour. Okay. So now we're touring around the studio, and he sits down at his grand piano. He starts playing a piece I'm not familiar with. It might have been Bach or something. Sounded very classical. And he's talking the whole time. Telling me how, he says, people always think of me a guitarist, but I'm actually better at piano. He starts playing. And I was like, yeah. You are pretty damn good. And he told me he doesn't know any notes, doesn't even know the notes on the piano. He just knows what they sound like. Completely unschooled. Even though he took lessons, he refused to learn theory. Funny guy, considering how much theory was in his playing that was, led mostly just by his ear. But then he says, all right, come over to the workshop. I'll set you up. I'm like, what? Okay. So we walk over to the workshop. We have to walk out of the studio into another door. It's the same building, but another door. And it's just like a workroom with any guitar builder or something would have such a room, or even more if you've ever been back, a guitar repair place or something. It's a similar setup to that, And he hands me this guitar. And he says, hold on to that for a second. So I'm holding on to it. He comes back with a case. And yeah, I didn't know what to say. So I said, I was like, oh yeah, cool. I was like, I probably should I take this in and get it set up at the Guitar Center or something? He's like, set up the guitar. And he shows me something. It was mind-blowing. He takes the guitar out of my hand, purposely puts the B string flat, and he goes, and he starts saying, he's like, thirds never sound good on on an electric guitar. And he goes, this is how I fix that problem. So the B string is flat. He starts playing a bunch of riffs, and I'm watching, and he's like, watch the B string. So I'm watching the B string, and no matter what chord he plays, or what shape of chord he plays, he's bending the B string so that it's just tuned instead of equal tuned. It was crazy. Like, so precise. You know, I think that's probably why he got away with playing a lot of parts that he played. Because he's right. It is hard to make thirds sound good on guitar, on electric guitar with a lot of gain. Because the tuning is a little bit off. And yeah, but he did it like to an exaggerated amount. Like he detuned it to make a point. It was crazy. So anyways, then we had, you know, put the guitar in the case. We head back to the girls' houses, to the girls' house, and hanging out and stuff. Then, yeah, on the way drive back, he said, "I'm going to hook you up with one of my 5150 amps." He's like, "Oh, the next week we'll come back. I don't have any right now, so I'll bring you back next week and we can grab one of those." Well, about a day later or whatever, I have a gig. My girlfriend and his girlfriend come to the gig. I play on the guitar he gave me, and yeah, and then something got crossed. Some messages got crossed, and it ended up that Jay, the girl Eddie was dating, and Eddie had a fight that evening afterwards, and broke up, and things got a little bit heated, and I was just put in a situation where I had to kind of stand up for my girlfriend a little bit, and that was the end of hanging out with Eddie. And yeah, not that we were on bad terms, but he gave me his phone number, but I ended up losing it. Never called him, and that was that, and that was how I got a guitar from Eddie Van Halen. I hope you guys were entertained by it. I know there's so many fans of Van Halen out there, including myself, and they just, you know, you just want to absorb every little bit that you can get to know about somebody that affected your life that way. And I get that, and I wasn't sure if I was going to share this story, and I figured if I was going to share it, I was going to, you know, get into some of the details and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. You know, share it if you like. I might leave it up for a little bit, but I'll probably end up taking it down maybe in a week or something. All right, guys and gang, girls, everybody, have a rock and roll day, and play some Van Halen music loud and proud. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Bye.